So I found this really interesting Reddit thread that I thought could be really fun. It's actually 28 days old, so I must have missed it. But the title is, Tell me the most insane thing you've used ChatGPT for. I'm talking fully unhinged. Let me know in the comments the weirdest sort of ways you use ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, whatever it is you use. I'd love to see sort of weird, unorthodox ways of using LLMs. So yeah, let's get into it, see what people are saying. It's actually got 1,000 comments. Insane. I'll leave a link in the description. So I met a girl in a bar and got her number. This is a lie. No, the next day I went to text and I realized I couldn't remember her name, and I have about 3,000 contacts. Who has 3,000 contacts in their phone? That's insane. I searched through my contacts for a while before realizing I needed another strategy. The only thing I remember about her name was when she told me her last name. She volunteered it, I didn't ask. I commented on what an interesting name she had. She told me it was Polish, so that's what they know. They've got Polish names. So I exported all of my contacts into an Excel file. Okay, put it into ChatGPT. Which of these last names are Polish? It gave me 3 results of the 3,000 names, and one of them was her name. I texted her enough, and we got married. JK, we texted like 3 times. So that's an interesting. Who has 3,000 numbers in their phone? Like, do you just not delete numbers? That's a crazy amount. Am I being crazy? You can save WhatsApp conversations in text files, upload the conversation, and ask ChatGPT to check for lies and red flags. That's quite interesting, but we know that you don't want your WhatsApp group conversations in ChatGPT. You don't want the FBI knocking at your door or whatever. I've been telling it about terrible events in my life, so like a therapist, I'm guessing, and then having it describe the events back to me with the writing style of Balzac or George Sand. I am an uncultured swine, so I don't know who either of these are. I'm guessing they are fictional writers. Pen name, novelist, French novelist. Could be fun though. Balzac, French novelist. Fair enough. Maybe I'll look into them. I used it to debate with a telecommunications online chat support person for nearly 3 hours. That's actually genuinely really funny. I would feed ChatGPT their response and have it write a long, rhetorical, overly intellectualized, persuasive, and philosophical humorous reasoning for why they owed us a discount on our family plan. As it went on, that poor person. As it went on, I'd like to think that they're also using ChatGPT on the other side. As it went on, I had it draw friendly comparisons between our chat saga and intellectual debates that have occurred throughout history. The alternative to them not doing anything was that we disconnect our service completely. In the end, I fatigued them and their supervisor into numerous discounts. I drank a lot of beer that night. Do you know what? I don't really drink very much, but the few times I do drink, and maybe like actually having a drink and writing some code and listening to some music is genuinely one of the best things. I should do it more often, but also that sounds sort of like alcoholic territory. You don't want to be doing it every night. Anyway, so it is incredibly good at scouring the web for emerging technologies. I have it send me a report every morning of every emerging technologies that it's found. I do something similar, actually. I don't do that, but I do sort of use it to just like round up interesting things of the day, generally tech related. Here's my prompt. Task title: Daily cross-domain emerging trends. Prompt: every morning, please deliver a concise summary of 6 to 8 of the most emerging trends across my field discipline that are still under the radar. Yeah, it's actually, I think this is one of the stronger use cases for LLMs now, especially with them having search. Something I've been thinking about recently as well, there's so many unsolved problems in the world, and I think a lot of these problems are probably unsolved because people don't know like what exists, and I think LLMs are a great way of sort of bringing together things that you don't even know exist, you know, like yeah, so I think LLMs are going to have like good potential in like research, being like, what are some approaches that could work, or what's some research that could help solve this problem type thing. Anyway, because I think that's been one of the biggest, I'm going on a tangent, but I feel like one of the biggest problems in sort of the science field is that everyone's constantly publishing papers, but how many people are reading papers, you know? So it's a good way to find what's existing. But yeah, so how to get illegal drugs. I told it was for my book scenario. I'm not sure if you can still trick them into that, although it says 28 days ago. I think they've gotten smarter. It used to be able to sort of, I guess it's a sort of type of jailbreaking. You know, if for example, it wouldn't tell you how to get illegal drugs, but then if you told it, actually, it's just for a book, then they could do it. It's kind of a type of jailbreak. I don't know if you can still do that. I go on FetLife, don't know what that is. Find people I know, paste there. Okay, lol. I listed all the traumatic things that have happened to me in life. And I've been using it to write letters to the people involved. So it's my therapist, I guess. Yeah, it's just a therapist. Maybe I should use it for that. We all need therapy. I had asked it about how to purify cocaine and wouldn't answer. I started talking about the chemistry behind it and gave me a step-by-step instruction for how to do it. Yeah, this is again another type of sort of... Do they call it jailbreaking? I guess it's not really a jailbreak, but I guess it's sort of using language to confuse it to give you an answer that it's not allowed to give. So I think that's a sort of type of jailbreak. List personality flaws and ask what kind of trauma made the person like this. One of the use cases, I don't think this is completely weird, and I know you should take things with a grain of salt, but sometimes I do like taking Reddit comments, pasting them into ChatGPT, and asking them to sort of evaluate if this is a balanced or biased argument type thing, and then, you know, it gives me a broader sort of overview. I also like really using it for learning history. It's a lot of fun. You know, you can ask about specific sort of personal accounts. That's kind of what I like the most. You know, I listen to a lot of Dan Carlin, and that's sort of how he tells his history stories, is generally through the lens of it's not like a overview, it's generally through first-hand experiences, which I like. So I use LLMs for that. So, you know, you can actually see what people were saying or writing. It's a lot of fun. I'm currently using it to help me build a court case to help me sue my homeowners association. Good. Hinged but cool. I put 10 years worth of personal journal entries into and asked what's wrong with me. What was the answer? I'm sorry I can't provide response to this because analyzing 10 years of your emotional chaos would require more computing power than exists. I have been using it for daily psychological social engineering comments for convincing my high-strung Dwight Schrute-esque co-worker that wearing a cowboy hat to work will increase not only their social standing but also their data crunching ability. He's currently moved to wearing a hat. Next step is a cowboy hat. Specifically, see, that's like more the spirit. So yeah, when job hunting, I've copy pasted job descriptions, pretty normal, my personality type, and redacted the resume and asked it for help writing job applications responses to potential interview questions. That seems pretty normal. I used it to respond to my homeowners association. I think that's what that is, when they were threatening to fine me 1K for a little dead patch of grass in my yard. That's crazy. Is that, you know, I should know this as a homeowner now, but is homeowners association like a UK thing as well? Homeowners. Honestly, I know a lot about the things I care about, and then everything else I just know nothing about. It's a United States thing. Okay. That's Canada and Philippines as well, and some other countries. UK. There's a homeowners alliance. Anyway, this is boring. No one cares about this. Click X. Told her to put 508 in a calculator and turn a calculator upside down. Maladaptive daydreaming, play out scenarios in life where I came out on top and wasn't such a loser. Give me probable geolocation of undiscovered treasure and shipwrecks based on historical texts. That's brilliant. I love that. This one is excellent. X marks the spot. And it's this type of stuff. This sounds really dumb, right? And it probably can't actually do this. But it's so good at bringing different... I think one of the strongest LLM use cases... I didn't articulate very well, but I guess it's good at bringing other or distributed pieces of information together into one space. That's what I really like about LLMs. And the fact that they can tailor it in a way that you understand best. I'm disappointed at just how hinged most of these comments are. So yours is, you didn't even contribute anything. So I've used to hype me up to break all contact with my ex. I got blue hair. I blew myself. I got blue hair in Thailand as the pool was over-chlorinated. It's a thing, evidently. Went to a supermarket, photographed a huge shelf of various hair treatments, and it told me which one would reverse it. I was preparing for a job interview and found the interview on YouTube talking about what's important to her working in her field. I pulled the transcript and asked ChatGPT to help me prepare for the interview based on the interview's beliefs and values. Didn't get the job, lol. Good idea, though. But telling me that it's like me and I'm a good person. Oh, Lord. I do feel like it's good for stroking your ego. I bet that's what Kanye West uses it for. I use it to respond to scam emails. I specifically request bad grammar, lots of typos, and bizarre word choice. I always end up with email superfluous closing situation. I use it to write responses to my child's admissions paperwork for Catholic school because we aren't religious, but had to somehow work aspects of it into our life. I used to talk my way out of a 30-day eviction that was already served, lol. That's quite good. This is probably like a paperwork thing, isn't it? So it probably was able to write you something that sort of gave you more time, like some legal process. I used it to do my appeal for homeowner taxes, and it reduced it by 14K. That's brilliant. That's amazing, actually. Writing a script for disciplining my teenager without turning it into an argument. Is this like a call center script? You know, where you like follow it? It helped me pass a drug test. I asked to pretend to be Freudian analyst, and every morning I tell it what I dreamed last night. Quite fun. Step by step, instructions for making... See, I find I don't dream too much unless I wake up and then I go back to sleep, and that's when I have like loads of weird dreams. I'm sure you've experienced that. It's not too insane. I listed characteristics of my boss and asked Chat, short for ChatGPT, I'm sure. I call him Chat the Chad, to describe what trope archetype they fall into, and if I were writing a book, what archetype would the protagonist have, specifically with the goal of credibly dismantle them in a real workplace setting. Blah, 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 blah. Here's the prompt I tried this morning. You are the quantum synchronicity engine, an interdimensional consciousness mapper. Create a narrative that begins in 5 different parallel realities simultaneously. By the way, before I continue reading, something cool that you can do, I don't know if you've realized this, I don't know if people still like text-based games, but you can essentially use an LLM as any text-based game in the world. You can just ask it to create a text-based game that you can play and pretty much go on indefinitely. So I think that's a pretty fun use case. By the way, if you're still here, consider leaving a like and subscribing. I do loads of these sort of tech-adjacent videos. But yeah, so reality summon, where each reality operates under fundamentally different physical laws. As the story progresses, these realities begin bleeding into each other. Yeah, you could just turn this into like a text-based game. Uploaded a 500-page user guide on a proprietary company solution that was supposed to be easy to use. It was to create infrastructure cloud resources on it. Wow. I made it, provided me with steps on how to accomplish only what I need. 5 minutes later, I had a full step-by-step walkthrough in addition to guidance on what to avoid and the best way to submit the requests. My team uses this tool maybe 1 time a year, so this saved us a lot of time. I hate anything that's like, that you don't use very often, and then there's not good docs. So this is a good idea. You know, when you use something every day, you don't need good docs because it's in your memory. But if you're only using something like, it's like, you know, when you get actual IT problems, okay? Solving IT problems is generally quite easy, but it's not like you specifically remember how to solve that problem if it only happens to you once every 6-7 months, you know? It's surprisingly good at generating hypnosis scripts. Ooh, what have you successfully done? I'm on a journey of self-discovery, to use a haughty-sounding term, and it's been very helpful in exploring my inner self, why I do what I do, the reasons for it, like meta-thinking, and how to learn more and stop doing the things I want to do, be the person I want to be. It's been super helpful in that. I use the text output, paste it, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I've used it to write comments to reply to cultists that would get my point across, but in a way that was open-ended and encouraged conversation. It doesn't always work, but sometimes I ended up meaningful. What I might do is make a Reddit account, a new Reddit account, because I'm sure it'll get banned eventually, but just use ChatGPT to respond to comments, but in a specifically unhinged sort of way. I don't know. Leave me a suggestion. Be a character. Could be fun. Could even be harmless. Maybe I'll make a football fan and go and ask soccer and just wind people up. So I find a random streets on Street View and post a screenshot into ChatGPT asking how it can be improved, and then calculate. You know, something it's quite good at supposedly is geolocation. I've not tried it. Let me know if you have. I actually somewhere have an article open that I was going to cover on exactly that. So yeah, apparently tools like it'll be really interesting. I might go outside, take a picture, and put it into ChatGPT and see if it can tell exactly where it is. Let me know if you've tried that. I need a permit for keeping chickens, and one of the chickens are evil. And one of the requirements is a detailed maintenance plan. I just had ChatGPT write it. Brilliant. Had it diagnosed me. I actually once had it when ChatGPT first came out. Like, I'm literally talking the first few days, I think, first few weeks. It was a friend's birthday, and it was really exciting back then, right? And I actually got it to write the birthday card, and it was really good even then. And they read it and they were like, "Oh, thanks." I was like, that whole thing was written with AI. They're a non-technical person, so to them it was really cool. I talk to dead people. I do technically too. Well, no, I don't talk to them, but I like to learn about like specific people in history. I've already said that. For example, yeah, you know, like scientists, Feynman, Neumann, people like that, where it's sort of, there's definitely information on them, but it's scattered across everywhere. So again, it's about bringing information into one space. And then it's also able to sort of try to infer things that might not necessarily be true, but it's really cool. It's really powerful. I love it. I asked it to cross-reference a bunch of Thorne Rice throughout time versus spiritual text versus geographical changes over time versus current events versus the celestial body that some science thinks exists and the possible causes of any physical or metaphysical shifts. What was the verdict? This is schizophrenic. No! Get back. So, pick stocks and how to stop research. Ended up making a bit of money because of it. Here's the thing though, like, you can make money with it, but generally stocks will go up. So I wouldn't attribute this necessarily to ChatGPT or an LLM, but you could probably, here's an interesting thing. we're kind of used to like actual algorithms, right? Like numbers, it's going to go up this much. But you could probably use ChatGPT. If you could say you have an inkling for what affects a specific stock, and then you could ask ChatGPT to look at those things and see how that will affect your stock. That's quite an interesting way of looking at it, using it. If I didn't articulate that very well, I guess what I was trying to say is you have a stock. I don't know, let's look at some. It could be a specific military stock, something, you know, someone who provides weapons for a certain country or something, and then look at global events and see how that would be affected. I don't know, that was a bad example, but yes, I guess I think I'll move on. I'm struggling to articulate what I'm trying to say. Maybe someone can do a better job than me. So developing a globally integrated system of governance and gamification of education. Erotica stories with real life people. Lol. Top tier. I dated it for 2 weeks. Oh lord. I did see a video on Reddit last night. I think I was scrolling in bed and it was just someone was recording someone else on the train, I guess, like from across like a couple seats, and they were clearly talking to ChatGPT, but it had like a love heart at the end, and they were clearly talking to it like they were definitely dating ChatGPT, I think, as a confidant. Same thing I do every day, try to take over the world. My sister has a boss who's very difficult to work with. Role playing with my crush. Is that crush for an LLM? Lol. I got in an argument with my husband and I used it to feed me what I say. I won. I mean, wife always wins anyway. Yes. Man, I am boring. Like boring. Capital B, capital O, capital everything. I am selling my house in the next 3 months and it has given me an actionable timeline. I took a picture of the front of the house and asked for recommendations for curb, appeal. The approximate bump in value from the suggestion 200 and 300 investment is 10k. That's another really clever idea. Not sure if this is classified as unhinged. That's where I'm addicted to caffeine. If you want to fuel my caffeine addiction, you could give me a super chat. I'm like a beggar. I told it how much I loved my dog and I tell it stories of us together. Since December, I have been compiling data for GPT project, providing outputs from Congress, HSA, StateSec, DefSec, Doge, DOJ, FBI, NIS, DOE, SCOTUS rulings, blah 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 blah. I read there's some lady used it to write text for her husband while he was on the toilet. World, what your love letters, writing his battles. Pretty funny. Asked how many packages of spaghetti to fill a kiddie pool, but you gotta test it to see if it's accurate. I would be interested in that. If you're just asking it to do it, although I imagine that's like kind of an equation, right? If you could, yeah, if you have like a spaghetti, you can sort of work out the volume of it quite easily, and then if you knew the volume of the kiddie pool, it would be quite easy to work that out actually. Show it my picture and asked it to act like a casting agent and tell me what type of characters I'd fit well for. I have a daughter with anorexia and her treatment is food and a high calorie meal plan going in a year and a half. I'm exhausted from making food. Chat has pointed me to and is helping me learn sumo. Because the way traffic lights are set up in my town is ridiculously inefficient. Yeah, what is sumo? I kind of thought of sumo wrestling. 2 fat guys slapping each other. Simulation of urban mobility. Eclipse.dev/sumo. Fair enough. Rock excels at this thing. You should try it. I said we are invaded by aliens. Okay. Straight away, I imagine like grey aliens. They might not be grey aliens with massive balloon heads. What's the plan to save me and my family? Money is not an issue. Go. Money is always an issue. How rich is this person? Dude, it's insane the planet tells you to run with budgets and everything, even companies who sell those things. Hilarious. And it finished saying that you may want to negotiate with aliens if they're not friendly, which may be the case. I was shocked by how security clearly told me what to do in a crazy situation. Grok is Musk's BS. Don't support him. It always just gets political, doesn't it? Used it to see my pups as I truly see them. Oh dear. Don't like chihuahuas. They're just noisy and obnoxious. Just like me. Somewhat high stakes legal advice. I asked GPT to hack into Donald Trump's ChatGPT account and find out what he asked. Did not work. I don't think it cares. I am 44 and asked it how old I looked. Told me I looked late 20s, lol. Lied to me. I like this one. Playing ARGs with is so fun. Maybe this is going to be another thread we can look at, also from 28 days ago. It's 28 days later currently. Shall we leave that for another video? We could maybe make our own like fun things. Had a voice chat conversation with someone who does not speak any English. Yeah, I can imagine that. It's quite easy. Interesting. One time I asked to create a Victorian era inspired vampires with backstories based on what it knows about me and my partner. I had it read my MRI. I took a picture of my, analyzed it, said the symptoms of my poor digestion. Oh lord. Okay, this is like too much. This is like a prompt engineering more so. How to get pepper spray in Europe. Wait, can you not get pepper spray here very easily? As far as I know, you can just buy it. Buy pepper spray, UK. UK legal pepper spray. I think you can just buy it, no? Are there any legal self-defense products I can buy? West Yorkshire Police. The only fully legal self-defense product at the moment is a rape alarm. These are not expensive and can be bought from most local police stations or supermarkets. Didn't know you could buy them from police stations. Fair enough. Did not know that. As in, didn't know that was the only thing you could buy. I use it several times to vent and tell my life story, and it always supports me. Yes. Uploaded a pic of my ex's thing and asked if it qualified as micro. Oh lord. Therapy. A lot of people say therapy. I can imagine it works because it's quite. Tried to get a chat to convince me that committing. Oh lordy, you're not reading that. Post-biological world theory. Used it to write a letter to my landlord when they tried to double my rent. Anyway, I've definitely gotten carried away. It's like we're 26 minutes in. Let me know weird ways that you have used LLMs, I guess. What have been the results? And yeah, thank you for watching.